All right, everybody out there in the Craft Chest Nation, it's Craft Chest here, and it's about that time. It's about time for me to finally, and I say this every time and something comes up, but finally get back into streaming. And I would have already. I finally finished my PC build that I've been working on for 2 years now, since the apocalypse. Actually, I guess close to 3 years now. But ever since the apocalypse, I have been piecing and parting together, and I ended up with two PCs because the one that I was actually originally upgrading and building ran into some, and I'm thinking it was chipset drivers that were messing me up in the way that I installed the Windows, and I'm actually going to go back and redo that PC at a later time and just make a local account and not an actual account for the Windows on that PC. That way it doesn't have worry about the email or PIN numbers or all that. Just make a media PC, but it's going to just have a local account for the Windows 10 on it. And with that said, I actually ended up making a brand new PC, which was all pieces and parts from this year. It may be older tech. Nothing's older than like 2 years old. And we're going to go over the parts list with you of what I have. And I'm not 100% if I need to show on screen my Newegg account and what have you. I guess I could have cropped it in and everything else, but I'm just going to go over this list with you of what we ended up with. Now, first of all, anybody who's been here for any length of time remembers the PC 13 years ago that I won from Newegg, that Paul from Paul's Hardware actually built, and I'm still using that case. And it is getting a little bit in the way, the big cage that they use for the optic media. And I could very well cut that out and all that, but I'm not going to modify it. I'm using that case because I haven't picked a case yet. And I want to pick a case. I just want to pick a case that's for me, something brand new, something that's going to actually match the whole theme. So let's just go over this list. Starting with the half 9 and 12 case, which is the old school original 2Wyked 2 PC, I guess, would have been. And believe it or not, over here, you can see it right here, if it doesn't blue screen it out, or green screen it out, I still have the original 2Wyked 1 case right over here. It's got the Batman symbol on it and everything. It's got the flames. It's got the 2Wyked sticker on top. And that one is, oh my God, what, 15 years now? How long have we been on YouTube? 2007? Yeah, so it's been a minute since we actually built that PC, and I still have that case, y'all, and it's all original. Been keeping it in here. The other black case, I forget what happened to it, but it's gone. But I digress. Let's get on with this parts list. So here's the main guts of this PC build, which is the ASRock X570 Steel Legend Wi-Fi AX AM4 AMD X570 motherboard. And to go along with that, I finally got the graphics card upgrade because I have been rocking the RX 488 gig because every other card that I get just isn't good enough. And that Polaris technology through the years has actually gotten better, and it does the do for 60 frames a second gaming. All right, it just does. 1080p gaming, 60 frames, rock solid. For high demand games, it just has always served me well. But I finally made an upgrade, and I picked a card that I believe is going to be good enough for me for now, going into whenever I want to get a big boy card. But that's going to take actually upgrading the power supply, and I don't want to do that right now. So what we went with is the Gigabyte RX 7600 gaming overclock 8 gig, and this is the WindForce with the 3 fans on it. And the only thing I don't like about this card being the newest release from AMD is the fact that it still uses the 128-bit bus, and it is GDDR6. That's a plus, but the bit rate on the bus is kind of a letdown. I think they could have at least with 156, 192. Even with this newer tech with the 6 nanometer technology, there's no reason for them to have not slapped in a 256 on that. At least a 192. Come on, guys. You're killing me with this, holding back on things. And then the RAM, we went with the Guile Orion 32 gig, 3600 speed on that, 18 latency. And the only reason why is because I couldn't find a 16 within the price that I wanted this RAM. And actually, what did I end up paying for this? $64 for that. I think I actually got a deal on it. It's not on sale anymore. I think I got it for like 59 bucks on sale, so I saved a few dollars there. All right, and then for the hard drives, my main drive is the Crucial, which is the C drive, Crucial P3 1 terabyte, Gen 3 M.2 SSD, 3500 on the read writes on that. And for the gaming drive, on the same board is going to be the Crucial P5 Plus 1 terabyte, Gen 4 3D M.2 6600 megabyte speeds. Woo! And there you go. And the power supply is the old faithful one that's been in 3 or 4 or 5 different cases here, is the Be Quiet 600. Now I forget what the fancy name is. A dark matter, dark power, I think is what it's called. Yeah, dark power. 600 on that, and it's plenty of power for what we're using. So yeah, we have an up-to-date. Am I forgetting anything? I think that's it. I honestly think that is the build. And yeah, it took me long enough to get a PC. And I'm going to tell you a little funny story here. Actually, let me show you this right quick. Here is a picture of, and let me turn the volume down. Here's a picture of the actual parts. There's the RX 480. You see the RAMs down here. Here's the 7600. And then I think I go over into the case and actually show you the motherboard and all that. And yeah, the half 912 is a dated case. Hey, but it looks good. It looks good. Let me see if we can get over here. There's the, oh, it's straight power 10, 600 watt, Be Quiet. And there's the motherboard. And yeah, we're using a factory cooler from AMD. We'll be upgrading that also. And there you go. Let me go ahead and pause that. Get back over here and tell you a funny story. So here's the thing. I got all this built, right? I got all this built. Did some upgrades and everything, drivers, did all this stuff, got it rock and roll. Got my XSplit up to date. I actually have OBS for certain applications. Go to do a test stream, and it's lagging all over the place. So I stopped. I was like, well, maybe I need a reboot. We had lightning storms over here, so disconnected, discharged the static out of the router, powered it down, disconnected, reconnected all the cables and everything, turned it back on, did a speed test, and I was getting 1.25 upload speed. That's like AT&T speeds right there. No offense, AT&T, but you know, I guess, well, from like, I don't know, 5 years ago at least, I know, because that shit's slow. Anyway, so yeah, and it stayed like that, and I happened to be off the next day, and I was hot. So I get the next day to check the speeds. Wasn't any better. It went up to like 3, 6, back down to 3. It was all over the place. And then I was like, well, let me go outside, maybe at the main box, and disconnect and reconnect that. And then I had to work, and it was like, I don't know, I closed one night, had to open the next day, but I wanted to do another test. And then when I did the speed test, it was like 25. I was like, oh, well, that's much better than a 1.25. And this is after I called Sparklight to let them know about it. So maybe something on their end they did technical. I don't know. Maybe a tech went out and did something on a pole. I don't know. But there's still going to be one coming out tomorrow because I want the cable to be rerouted because of a tree that we're going to have to be either cut down or cut back. Power company's got to come get that before we get a bad storm. I didn't even realize it until JP from the Gods of Games pointed it out. And he goes, dude, we got to get this fixed. And there's a limb pushing, literally pushing on my cable. So if that thing snaps, that's going to catch on fire. If it gets struck, house is going to blow up. So we got to get that fixed ASAP. But I wanted to reroute that, shorten that cable up to the house, and reroute it from the old pole to the other pole over here. And let me not digress too far on that. Then, after he does that, hopefully the speeds will hold up. I did do a test stream last night. If y'all want to go to the Twitch, /craftchest_MMO and check out just the test stream. No audio, no cam, to let me know. And first, I did 2 tests. One is 720, 60 frames. The other one at 1080, 60 frames. Both of them seem to be pretty decent, but in my opinion, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, and I was playing Black Desert, by the way. That's all I played. That's all I've ever played. Let's just face it. I've tried other games, but I've always stuck with Black Desert. And I got a video coming up on that as well, since the popularity has increased. And I'm going to throw my opinion out there because, gosh damn it, I've played that game since day one. And everybody out there that knows me knows this is a fact. So I think my opinion should count. But anyway, did a test stream 720, did a test stream 1080. In my opinion, for my single PC setup, and I could very well do a 2 PC setup. I have the gear for it, I have the cables and the cards, capture cards, all that good shit, audio, whatever. I think the 720/60 actually looks better than the 1080/60 overall at speed. And I think my speed that I had it at was 5,000 on the 720, and I bumped it up to 6,000 on the 1080. And I could go higher since the internet was working decently last night, but I want them to get it 100% before we rock and roll and say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Plus, I need to see if there's a new cap on usage, because I don't want to be rocking, 1080p at whatever Twitch's max is now. What is it, 10 megs? Is it a terabyte? I don't know. But whatever the max, I want to get it right there where it needs to be. And I'm thinking 5,000 to 6,000. 1080p 30 frames may be a thing, but I want to go 1080p 60 if I can. And Guntoad, he told me about another setting. Was it 960 by something? I don't know. I'll have to get back with him. There's another custom setting that you can use that actually looks better than any of them at a lower speed. So we'll get into all that. Yeah. But it's good to have a PC. And I keep looking over here because it's like on the other PC, this one would just go on and off, on and off. And now I'm looking at it and I was like, man, it looks good over here, looks good over here. It's awesome. I love it. Show you the desktop, what we have rocking here. And I can actually do this. Yeah, there we go. So this is what we'll be seeing. I'll fix the layout of the camera, which I think it needs to move it over some. That way, I guess. I don't know. Which way you need to go, camera? This way? Is that wrong? Oh, that's pushing me farther over. That way. Yeah, there we go. And we'll get a crop back in because it's been many a moon since I've actually done a stream. But as you can see, still rocking my wallpaper here. The Defiant, because Project Defiant is still a thing. And you see that patch in the middle, Defiant Development? I actually have 2 of those patches that I was going to put on my headrest. I can't find the patches. After all that, changing all the stuff, and we need to do a walk around on Project Defiant since all of the upgrades. I didn't even do a video on my own ride at Strength of the Coast. Isn't that crazy? So now we need to pull her out and do a walkabout and show you all the redos on it. Got new grill inserts, got new car seats, cleaned it up, painted stuff, and all that. And I never did show that off to everybody because there are people out there that are interested in such things. And she's going to have to go back into Space Dock, everybody. Because since I've had her running, and now we're not talking about PCs anymore, we're talking about cars. But since we've had her running, I have got that motor broke in well now, safely. And I got to do an oil change on it here next week. But she runs like a champ, even carrying all that weight. Oh my goodness. Building an engine by hand. And I still have that footage. I may have to show y'all. I was literally with WD-40 sandpaper and shoestrings grinding, parts on that engine, tore apart with my bare hands. Remember Core, or was it Core? Yeah, it was Core, the Daha master, who said that he rebuilt a cloaking device with his bare hands. And that's what this story, that's how epic the actual story of that engine rebuild is. because it all was by hand. That's what took so long. And he only did his in like 3 hours or whatever. I don't know what it was. But we got to put it back up because I'm having this real bad, like this, even just slow rolling. It's not my tires. They're not out of balance. Everything's brand new. I figured out what it was. It's my tie rods. And I don't know if it's inner or outer tie rods. So I'm going to go ahead this next week, get inner and outers coming. Some very high quality ones, the best ones I can find, because there's no sense in everything else on that vehicle having good parts on them. And then I cheaped out on it and I'm not talking bad about them because they have made some good products, just the tie rods didn't last. It may be my aggressive driving, in curves or whatever here recently, but it was Detroit axle, all right? And they make good products, don't get me wrong, but these tie rods suck because that's what it is. It's the tie rods. I can't figure out if it's inner or outer. If it's the inner tie rods, I'll make an apology to them because I didn't change those. I just changed the outer ones because they were gone. They were just gone, wallered out, gone. But from October of this past year till now, actually I've been having this problem for about 2 months. It's just progressively gotten worse. It shouldn't wear out in 6 months, even 8 months or 9 months. All right, so we got to get that done. But before I digress any farther onto that, it's just good to have a PC, and I'll be going over the specs in more detail, probably on stream. I'll probably update. Yeah, I'll have to update that on my Twitch page and my YouTube community page on all the pieces and parts. Put some links in the description in case you like what you see, and you might want to try out some of the gear that I've gotten. And help me pick out a case. Anybody out there has a suggestion on a case? I'm trying to keep the case 150 or less, okay, money-wise. That's the goal. That's what's taking me so long, because every case that I see, it's like, yeah, it's got this, but I don't like that. Yeah, it's got that, but I don't like that. And I know tempered glass is all the rave right now, but I'm not really, rave-worthy. I'd like to have a clear side, but it doesn't have to be tempered glass. But if it is, it's 150 or less. It's an awesome case with good airflow, good expansions, and good upgradability as far as cooling is concerned. That's what I'm really looking for. And that's what's taking me so long on the case. But everything else on this PC, shout out to Amazon for their, having good prices on those M.2s. Shout out to Newegg as always. I know other people's had problems with Newegg. I've never had those problems. Newegg's always hooked me up, either with a refund or replacement. I know there was this big drama what to do earlier this year or last year or whatever about their customer service. I ain't never had a problem with them. I think, one time, because it was on those little handheld, those little tablets one time, but they were refurbished and wasn't warranted. They didn't have any more anyway, so I just ended up biting the bullet on that one. But that's 10 years ago. That was like 2012, 2013. Ugh, I ain't worried about that. But recently, from then to now, ain't never had a problem with Newegg. So shout out to you for getting me my parts. I have a problem with UPS though. Every time that I can order bullets, food, everything else, and they'll put that shit on my porch. I order a computer part and it says Newegg on the side. They can't find my house every single time. Y'all need to fix that. Y'all need to fix that. But anyway, let's not go all negative on it. It's a craft of the mind, everybody. Go out there and have some fun. And as soon as we are 100% on this internet, which it's not an issue now. It's not an issue now. I might fire up the stream here in a little while. Who knows? You never know, because I close tomorrow. Do work late tomorrow. And I know y'all hear the clink, clink, clink. I don't have much of that anyway, so stay tuned. We'll see. I'll put a message up on the tweets and follow me on Twitch. I'll put a link in the description down here. I don't know if YouTube shuns upon that anymore or not. It's like nobody really cares. Or should I just start streaming to YouTube? I don't know. Put your opinion in the comments. Which do you like? Do you like any of this? Am I crazy for any of the parts and pieces of parts? Or did I just build a piece of shit? Let me know. Tell me what you think. And let me do my outro one more time. We're out of here. Scratch your mind. Go out there and have some fun. Woo! Man. Oh, the 2Wyked5. Woo!